kabila ndio kwao. Hapo shafika ukweli na hakika, kadiri na shika furaha kwa lahiki. Kwa mashabiki maji kuziki, hip na fiki, hit na dhiki, muda muna wiki, mimi na himziki, split ni mukiki, kutafuta ziki, kwa makini mfulisi, ya mchima la sili, feel me.
Don't you know we're talking about a revolution song?
Well, you don't know until I tell you. I really hate people that insult your intelligence. They believe that you're so dumb, or they are so special that they truly believe you will believe anything that they present or tell you. Now, there are, how can I say this? I don't want to be insulting, but we call them black folks that have the slave mentality. Y'all refer to them as Uncle Tom, Sambos, and other riffraff or whatever. I call many of them, matter of fact, actually I call us dark Europeans. I mean, that's all we know. You can claim to be an African all that you want to. You was born right here, and chances are you're going to die right here. Stop being fake. You love Africa so much, but when you die, you're not even going to have your body sent to Africa. You're not going to have your ashes scattered in Africa. You're going to die, and you're going to live right here to the day you die. Stop. We need to stop. See, folks keep trying to insult your intelligence. Even the great Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey said Africa this, Africa that, and Marcus Garvey died in Europe. What is the point? Is there some type of contradiction here? Huh? Now, stop trying to insult my intelligence. You have no plans to go live in Africa, because if you did, if you had to go there with not one dime in your pocket, you would go. Many Africans, people from that continent right now, come to America the best way they can, willing to risk their lives on a boat with 500 people on it to try to get to America. If you so obsessed with Africa, you would do the same thing. Yeah. Stop insulting people's intelligence. But those people, this is not the subject of this video. However, there's a mentality that seems to embrace when somebody is insulting your intelligence, and they let them or allow them to get away with it because they are special. I don't want to hurt their feelings. No, you don't insult my intelligence. I'm going to show you I'm not dumb like that. And if I did show you or allow you to think that I'm dumb like that, believe me, it's something behind it. Anyway, I want to show the hypocrisy of this all lives matter. All lives matter is a racist response to Black Lives Matter. Whether you like Black Lives Matter or not, all lives matter is a racist response to Black Lives Matter. Why does a Black Lives Matter come into existence? Why does a Nation of Islam come into existence? Why does a Black Panther Party come into existence? There's a movie coming out later on this week, Nat Turner. And they're going to be talking about Nat Turner and that slave revolt. Why was there a slave revolt? All these things come into existence because a people were living under oppression, and they were reacting to that oppression. Where was All Lives Matter during the time of Nat Turner? You did. Let us be just. There were a few handful of Caucasian people and perhaps others. They called themselves abolitionists, and they were doing their best to try to stop this thing called slavery. No doubt. But as a nation of people, they just didn't get the point. Just like now, they tried to justify that little boy had the gun. He did this, and he was a thug, and they, just like right now, they justify the murder of anybody with dark skin. We are always the target. It is not the immigrant Irish, the immigrant German, the immigrant African, immigrant Arab. It's always the dark-skinned people, the descendants of slaves born in America. We are always the target, going back hundreds of years. And you believe that when people are oppressed, when people are abused, they are supposed to be silent. They are never supposed to rise up against their abuser or oppressor. All lives matter. All lies matter. You are liars and hypocrites, and you're fake. Where was All Lives Matter during the time of Nat Turner? Where was All Lives Matter when Dr. King and those who followed Dr. King were being beaten and fire hoses were sprayed on them and dogs was biting them and even black children and women? It made no difference. Where was All Lives Matter? If all lives matter, then you should stand up for those lives, but you don't. Especially when you see when they are dark-skinned. Now, if they was gay and they joined the gay movement, you might support them because of their gayness. But if they are the normal, average, everyday, so-called black American, you don't want nothing to do with it. It seems as though these people we live with, they have an insatiable, demonic type of attitude, behavior against dark-skinned people, and they love to turn on their TV to see you getting your butt whooped, mistreated in some kind of way. They like to see us in a bad way. Why is that? Why do you believe that these people of whom benefit from over 300 years of free slave labor, this nation, and over 100 years of underpaid labor, how the hell can these people have anything against you? And they have done nothing but benefit from us being here hundreds of years ago and right now to this day. America would be nothing without black people in track and field, on the basketball court, and in many places they don't even like to talk about, because we're still doing great things in science and mathematics and physics and so forth. But they hate your guts. You're living with a sick people. They're mentally disturbed, and you marry them, and you want to be in the bed with them, and you want to defend them when they are wrong. This goes to show how sick you are. This is why it is necessary. And this is why after going on 500 years of this relationship, a relationship that was not voluntary, it was involuntary. A relationship that was not founded on love. This is why this relationship, after 500 years, going on 500 years, there is only one real solution, and that is separation. Whatever the black man and woman of America do in this country, if your ultimate goal is not separation, then you need to shut up. And you need to stop rioting. You need to stop talking about all Black Lives Matter. You need to stop complaining about Caucasian people when the only thing you're going to do is stay in the house with them, and you know what the result's going to be. They're going to continue to do what they have done because 500 years say they're not going to change. 500 years. Not 30 years, not 20 years, not 20 months, not 3 months, not 2 or 3 days. 500 years tell you what the deal is. But you want to stay with your abuser. This goes to show that you are just as sick as they are. Oh, it's not all of them. Racism has no power unless majority rule. Just like if the majority of Caucasian people in this nation was against slavery, it never would have happened. Point blank. But the majority was conditioned and they agreed slavery is a good thing, and wow, here we go. Now we are the richest nation on the planet. Thanks, Negroes. And what the Negroes going to get out of all of it? Nothing except your butt whoop. Go to prison for 40 years knowing that you was innocent, then they let you out and don't give you nothing, not even an apology. And if they do give you an apology, it's a half-hearted one. It's fake. You're living with fake folks, and woo, man. You're always making mockery of insane people. Well, I live with insane people. People labeled crazy. People labeled insane. I live with that type of people or persons for 10 years. And I've never, out of all these insane people, I've never experienced the hate, the mistreatment, the injustice like the so-called free people when you come out into the so-called free world. In fact, I was much respected in the world of insanity among the insane. Because these here on the outside really are the sick. Anything other than separation, then the only thing you're saying is you a good Negro. And you are afraid that you can't live without your massa. You talk all this stuff about blacks are equal to Caucasian people and whatever. You have never lived outside of them. Prove it. Prove you can build your own nation. Prove you can live without them. You scared. When you separate, take your pink wife and children with you, if you need to be. Separate from them. All lives matter. If all lives matter, then where is your voice? However, if we ever come up out of this coma, that's what it is a coma. You and I both know you in trouble because we won't care. And we have no problem with by any means necessary, just like Malcolm said. So you better keep those drugs coming into the black community. You better keep that porn in the black community. Keep that alcohol. Keep that preacher preaching. All these things that you have known to do to keep this lion under control. You better keep doing it. But one day, like in all things, they wear off. No matter how much you drink, sooner or later you're going to get sober. No matter how much porn you watch, sooner or later you're going to get tired. No matter how much you get high, pretty soon you're going to get, it's not going to be the same. And when these of whom you have kept sick, going on 500 years, finally begin to come into that state of mind, if it's not too late. See, because time waits for no one, brothers and sisters. These who are the slaves of, these who are the descendants of slaves, born in America having dark skin. Time waits for no one. So y'all keep tripping if you want. Because when time passes you, you can't go back and get it. When you know you're supposed to be at the bus stop at 7:15 and you don't get there to 7:30, that bus is not going to wait for you. It's gone. So it's up to you. It's your choice. So this rant video is not done out of hatred. It's not done out of dislike. It's done out of things that make you say, makes me confused. I don't understand. Well, if I don't understand, why don't you bring me understanding? There are those who have tried to bring me understanding. But you're not qualified. Because the only thing you're doing is repeating what you heard somebody else say. It's not coming from your mind. So when I shoot these questions at you, this inquiry at you, you don't know what to do. Because before you can get an answer for this, I got another question for you. And you don't like it. You can't keep up. Because your teacher, wherever you're getting this stuff from, you have not prepared yourself for it. So the only thing that you can do is, you're going to go to hell. You filled with self-hatred. And all these other kindergarten responses. Because actually, you don't know what you're talking about. Somebody sold you an ideology and you really don't even understand what it's about. And you're limited in what they told you. So if somebody comes to you in a manner that you was not taught to deal with, you don't know what to do. And I guess that's my fault. But it's, well, see, and I'm pretty sure you noticed, I just done a simple. Now you can teach me now. I'm tongue-tied. I'm always open to information. I am never closed. I'm listening to everything that you say. I can comprehend English, the spoken word and the written word, pretty good. You can ask the racists about that. I can write and I can understand, comprehend English very well. I understand it enough that I'm able to write motions to the Supreme Court of Washington, D.C. Before I made this video, I should have got some of the paperwork that I've done in court when I reached out to the Supreme Court. They understood my writings. They understood what I have to say. So when you tell me, I don't, what is he talking about? I don't understand. No, you don't like what I have to say. You understand completely. And I comprehend. And when I present whatever I want to say to you, I do it in the simplest manner that's possible. So I know that you understand. That's why you really get upset and angry, because you understand exactly where I'm coming from. Now, with that said, before I decided to make this video, I did a very simple Google search. Man, I'm tongue-tied today. I did a very simple Google search for black scholars. You know, all these people, that's your teachers, your master teachers, your scholars. What am I looking for? Now, you can help me in this because I don't know it all. But from what I see on YouTube, social media, and what I hear coming from up out of people's mouths, the scholars, the master teachers of black conscience are not Africans, but you promote Africa, Africa this, and you're African, Africa, Africa, Africa. We need to return to our African spirituality. But what is ironic and what is contradictory about all of this, the master teachers, the scholars that y'all keep talking about, they were born in America. They are not Africans. They have no background of living among Africans. I'm not talking about visiting African people. They have no background, spent no time living among African people. And when you say African people, there are many of them. It could be almost anybody. There are over 50 nations on the continent of Africa. You have a lot of visiting to do. There are numerous tribes, countless religions and spiritual systems, and y'all talk about African spirituality, and you want to put all this in one jar. It is not possible. But above all, you want to try or make us believe that you're an expert on Africa. Matter of fact, some of y'all got such a big head, you know more than the people that actually are born and live on the continent. Oh, they don't really know what they're talking about. Some American Negro was telling me, oh, those Africans, they really don't know what they're talking about. They were born on the continent. They still have knowledge of self. You don't have that. So you tell me, so where are you getting this information from? No African, and clearly nobody from Kemet has taught you anything. Nobody, no ancient Hebrew has taught you anything. Now, in the case of black Muslims, Arabs can teach you the Quran. Will Arabs also tell you because they enslaved dark-skinned people on the continent, that's the reason why they are Muslims? You never was a Muslim. You was conquered by Arabs, and they forced Islam on you, just like the Christian Caucasian people forced Christianity on the dark-skinned people. They conquered. In fact, I heard that Arab slavery was far worse. At least to talk about colonialization, when those crackers went to Africa, and this went on even until the late 1930s and 40s or whatever. These devils, these Caucasian devils, doing unimaginable, horrible things to African peoples. But let us get back. I know y'all know about that and you agree. But let us get back to your Africanized education that did not come from nobody African. All these supposed to be black conscious scholarship scholars. Where are you getting your information from? They're not getting nothing from no African person or nation or anything. And it's never specified. It's always African. Did it come from Ghana? Did it come from Somalia? Did it come from Rhodesia, Liberia? Is it Congolese? Tanzanian? Ethiopian? Where is this coming from? They never specify. It's African. You can pick an apple in Africa. Where did it come from? The apple didn't come from the whole continent. The apple came from a specific place. Well, I picked this apple when I visited the Congo. Okay, now, when we talk about African spirituality, black conscious scholarship, where does it come from? Where did you pick the apple? Who gave it to you? Who's teaching you? So clearly, what everybody has fallen victim to is fabrication. It's a bunch of lies. Feel-good lies. No different, no better than what the race has done to us with Christianity. Turn the other cheek. Jesus is coming. The black man is the original man. You can see with your third eye. Live long enough, you might get a fifth eye. You know, same kind of fictional fairy tale stuff that you tell children or you give to an adult with a childlike mind. That's why you don't like messing with me. That's why you don't like me. And I thought that I was alone in questioning this African stuff because, as many of you know who have been listening to this ministry, I don't call us black, I don't call us Africans. I always say the descendants of slaves born in America having dark skin. And I have the sister who was a friend of Dr. Boyce Watkins. What's her name? Yvette Carnell? That's Yvette Carnell, something like that. Anyway, she's one of my Facebook friends, and she just posted recently, and she just like me, catch pure hell. She says that I don't embrace this African American, all these labels that have been put on me. I view myself simply as a descendant of slaves. And the folks some of them went crazy. I thought you knew better than that. But when I saw her post, it makes me happy because now I know and have always known I'm on the right path. And I have been saying this since 2007. What is it, brother, that you want to talk about? I want to talk about, well, let's begin like this. I am over 50 years old. Now, 30 years ago, I was mathematics tell me I was in my 20s. And I would see very young children, infants, babies, even teenagers. And I would marvel at them because I am very sure many believe they would have or should look forward to a wonderful future. I was in my 20s. I was very active in the Nation of Islam. And as an adult, I was doing what I thought I could do according to my understanding. All I could do in order to help secure a better future for those children. And that was 30 years ago. So now, those children, even if they were infants, now they are many of you who are now in your 30s, some of you going on 40 and so forth. And then you begin, or I began to look back at what has happened. The work that I attempted to do, the things that was done in order to secure a better future for these children. And also during this time, I would be so jealous of brothers and sisters when I see them out in the public with their families, and it seems as though all was doing good, and you would see the husband and the wife, or maybe you would see a very good brother and a sister who were not married, but they were doing what they could do, and you could see the love in these families that were created. And I would sometimes be jealous because myself, I've never wanted children because of our condition. I never wanted to bring another life into this thing that I considered hell. Many of you have decided, 30 years ago, you decided to bring a new life into the hell that you complain about day in and day out. Now, as a single person with no children, and my wisdom and my understanding was founded and it was based in following a man, Louis Farrakhan. So now, 30 years have passed, and I'm looking at the work that I've done and the help that I gave to an organization so that we could secure a better future for the children that follow behind us. And I am very sad to report. And it's not fault of my own. I did not know. I only done the best we can, and you can only do the best you can according to what you know. You cannot act outside of what you know. And so has the condition, and I am asking those of you who are now 30-some years old, the work that the Nation of Islam was doing and others claimed they was doing, did we set you up for a better future? And the answer, whether we like it or not, is clearly no. In fact, the situation seems to have worsened because we were not being shot down as we are right now 30 years ago by cops, regardless to race, the way we are now 30 years ago. It seems like an all-out attack on these who are the descendants of slaves born in America having dark skin. So, I looked at those children 30 years ago with happiness, knowing that their future would be much better than my own. But unfortunately, just like I've stated, it seems as though things have gotten worse. And regardless of whom you vote for president, this situation would not change, because it's a situation where you and I, whether we fail or whether we succeed, it is up to us to change the condition. But the majority of us, even 30 years ago, it was just a handful of people trying to do something to change the condition, while the majority have become comfortable in this tank filled with sewage. So now, 30 years later, there are always babies being born, and I was in a fast food establishment wanting not a hamburger or nothing like that, but just something simply to drink. And I was surrounded by all these little black children. It was black women in the fast food restaurant, of course, and they had all these little children running around, at least 7 or 8 babies. And I'm looking at them, shaking my head, and I must shake my head at my own relatives having these small children. And I'm looking at them, what type of future will they have 30 years from now? Some of you blame your elders for your condition. You may not blame me, because I actually was trying to the best of my ability to take an action to do something to help make your future better. In fact, was willing to die on my post for you. But before you can judge your elders, remember, before you can blink your eye good, you will be an elder. Matter of fact, you are an elder to some child right now. What are you doing? You're having these children, you're having these babies. What are you doing to secure a better life for them? And the answer is nothing. Except beautiful talk, pretty talk. And you're selfish, only thinking about the present and what you want, how you live. And you're not thinking about what is in the best interest of future generations. You have no vision beside that what you see right now. So instead of 30 years ago when I had tears of happiness for the children, because in my mind and all this big shot talk that I thought was real, but it was fantasy, it was delusions, but I thought it was real. There were tears of joy knowing that these children, these babies, would have a better life than myself. And now, as an older person, 30 years have gone by. And these babies, I still love the children. I love to see the babies smile. They're so innocent and everything. I love children. I love new life. I love their energy, their curiosity, and all these different things that I once was. We all were children at one time. But now, when I see them, instead of joy, I feel sorrow. I feel gloom. I feel doom for them. I don't see nothing good down the line. I don't see a beautiful future. Because the children's parents, this generation, you and I who live right now, you're not taking the appropriate steps. You don't have the appropriate mind in order to secure the betterment of future for your babies. You find joy and pleasure in making the children, but you find no joy and pleasure in making the future, because in order to make a future, it requires creativity using your brain, the liberation of your mind, the sacrifice and suffering, and perhaps even dying in the effort in order so that your babies can have a better life. And you're not willing to do that, so how can I feel happiness for these babies that you bring onto the earth when all they will have to look forward to is doom and gloom? More begging, more being shot down in the street, more discrimination, more hatred, more racism, which the racism encompasses a lot of things. So how selfish are you? Why would you want to bring another human being into hell? We're not talking about heaven. You know this is a living hell. Why would you want to bring a baby into this and then you don't do nothing in order so that this child could experience heaven on earth? We should not be having babies at all. It is better to be a man and a woman and go extinct than to continue to live this way as a comfortable, well-adjusted, as my brother prophet said, a well-adjusted slave. And that's what you all become. You're comfortable. You actually enjoy and don't mind being shot down in the street, going to jail and being innocent, being called a nigger. Matter of fact, you call yourself a nigger. Matter of fact, you shoot other dark-skinned people down in the street. You lie on brothers and sisters and you gossip and you slander. You're a bunch of niggers. And that's what you produce in these little babies, all cute and cuddly right now, but they're just growing up to be a bunch of lazy, trifling niggers like you and me. I will include myself in the group. I have no choice. I understand we can do better. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes to do better. But I'm surrounded by a bunch of lazy, trifling, good-for-nothings that lie, that talk about, I love my kids. You don't love nobody. Niggas don't love nothing. The only thing that you really love is your slave master. That's the only thing that you really love. And we see that with your actions, but we don't see those type of actions when it comes to secure the future for your babies. Hey, Angel Snubbing Up 7 in the house. Y'all hear me? You gonna join me? Oh, come on now. Don't be scared. Have a seat. All right. We want to talk. I am Angel Snubbing Up 7. You've come to the right place. This is the Reality's Temple on Earth. Coming a little casual and we just want to talk to each other, not at each other. I want to talk with you. We have to learn how to talk to one another instead of at each other, regardless to difference of opinion. I can listen to your difference of opinion. You can talk about me like a dog, and I will still smile. It makes no difference because we're just having a conversation. You can just be who you are. I have no problem with that. I'm not going to get angry at you because you disagree with what I present. And you should not get angry with me because I disagree with your opinion. But I've been on this social media thing since late 2007. I'm trying to speak to these who are the descendants of slaves, born in America, having dark skin. Many of you don't like me personally for whatever reason. I have not done anything to none of you. But that's on you. That's cool. And you certainly do not challenge what I say. And you don't like what I have to talk about because it's so strong, you can't do anything. It's easier for you to try to attack me as a person of whom you really don't know. You don't know me. You lie and make accusations, allegations about something I've done to you that you can't prove. You're a liar. You're a slanderer. You spread gossip. But when it's all said and done, you can't do nothing with me. So since you can't do anything with me, it's easier to just sit back in the cut and lie. So you lied that you seek black unity because that's what I want, and I'm willing to compromise position. I don't have to like you to have unity in order to secure a common goal and a common purpose. But you a liar. You using your hatred for another brother and sister so that you don't have to do absolutely nothing. And some of y'all, you want your organization or you want the credit for whatever. Oh, how? You will always, with this type of behavior, this type of attitude, you will forever remain an eternal slave. That's why y'all love these fairy tale teachings, because they praise you and reward you for doing absolutely nothing. I'm a king and a queen. A king and a queen of what? You a god and a goddess with no power. You nothing but a bunch of niggas standing on the corner smoking weed, smoking the Quran, smoking the Bible, whatever you done found to smoke. Bunch of dope addicts. High on the Quran, high on the Bible, high on some weed. You got to be high on something. You high on everything except life. Because if you was high on life, you would kill to protect that life. But you already dead and have never known life. So they don't like Angel Snub Nub 7 because this is the reality's temple on earth. And we just don't say it. We keep it real. And keeping it real means if I have to bring myself down a notch, 2 notches, 3 notches. In fact, if I felt as though I was a detriment, my voice, my opinion was actually a detriment to the development of these who are the descendants of slaves born in America, I would shut my mouth. Unlike you, I would shut up and sit down and help those of whom really I know in my heart is doing a better job. But I know there is none. I see no liberated minds. They have the money. They have the support. And what do you see? What are they accomplishing? What have they been bringing to us of substance? Nothing. And that's just the reality of it. And you don't like to hear the truth that you're doing nothing. I'm doing all this hard work. I'm putting in the work. Your work is producing nothing. It's just like they do a lot of work at Samsung, right? They did a lot of work. That iPhone Samsung did, they did a lot of work putting that phone together. But when it's all said and done, the batteries are exploding. So your work means nothing because the product that you're producing has a flaw in it. The product that you're producing is catching cars on fire, blowing up stuff. So, yeah, you put in a lot of work, but look at the result of your work. That's not what I wanted to talk about, but I guess I can make my point of the topic that I've actually chosen within the next 5-6 minutes. People just don't like me. And guess what? I don't care. They won't debate me. Why don't you debate me and shame me before everybody? Show people how smart and intelligent you are. Debate me, put me in my place, crush me, smash me, however y'all want to call it. Show the people, don't talk about me. I'm not going to talk about your mother. I'm not going to talk about the roaches in your house. I'm not going to talk about your dog. I'm not going to talk about your ugly, lopsided faced sister. I'm not going to talk about you and your personal thing. I want to talk about this childish, delusional, insane thinking process that we have. That's what we want to talk. I want to challenge that. And speaking of delusion, and speaking of insanity, I want to make a point about these pro-African people. And you must be talked about. You must see the man in the mirror. You must see the reality of who and what you really are and what you become. I hear them all the time. Africa this. Oh, the African. You must accept your African ancestry and we need to return back to our African spirituality. They just so African. But the reality is, the majority of them are going to die right here in the United States of America. That's the reality. The reality is, even after they die, their ashes will not even go to Africa, or their body will not be flown to Africa and be buried there because they don't know nobody there. They have no connection with those people. You're running your mouth and you're insane. You are absolutely crazy. You're talking about something that is not real. If I was real about it, I can guarantee you right now, I would have a burial plan, cremate my remains, put those remains on an airplane, and anybody can just scatter my remains on the soil of Africa. These people are not serious about nothing. They have turned the so-called knowledge of self, they have turned what we call black liberation into a type of religion. That's all that it is. A bunch of hooping and hollering, go on Facebook, put up pictures of Africa, and talking about Africa this. That's all it is a bunch of talk. And when they talk about Africa, they always talk about Africa in a beautiful way. And that's good. Some of them want to show you that Africa is not filled up with a bunch of starving people and a bunch of savages and illiterates and the Caucasian pink people. They painted Africans in a wicked, lying, deceitful manner. That's true. That is true. But now, this is my thing. That's all you want from the Africans. You keep talking about the Caucasian people or whoever, they in Africa and they want our resources. When did you own anything? You sound dumb and silly right there. What you mean our resources? You don't own nothing. Many of these people haven't even visited Africa. You have no connection. You don't own nothing. You don't even help your own people right here in America. Least to say, there are Africans, African people, many tribes, many nations who are not doing that well. Are you sending money to the refugees? Are you getting on a plane going to help dig a well so they can have water? Help them grow some corn and some rice? What are you doing since you're so Africanized? No, you want to go and continue the same Europeanized lifestyle and you want to take it to Africa. You want Facebook, you want the internet, you want plumbing in your house, you want air conditioning, but you want to go to Africa. We have to return back to the way our ancestors lived and African spirituality. Correct me, but ancient Africans didn't have air conditioning. They didn't have heaters. They wouldn't drive in cars. You would call them primitives. They didn't have all these different things that you're comfortable with. And you're not trying to go and live that kind of way. You want to go to Africa where they have electricity, running water, and living the life that you're used to and accustomed to. Y'all a bunch of fakes. You are. You're a bunch of fakes, and you know that I know that you're a bunch of fakes, and you know if you debate me, you come in my face, you know I'm going to challenge you on it because y'all a bunch of fakes. You love the African that got something that you can benefit from, just like the racists. They like those people of whom they can benefit, they can exploit. And that's all that you want to do. You want to exploit. You want to benefit our gold, our platinum, our silver, our oil, whatever in Africa that you think can make you look good. And that's all that it's about. They never talk about African brothers and sisters who are in harm's way. Somebody's trying to murder them every day. They don't know where their next meal is coming from. What are you doing to help them? I can guarantee you would not even let them come live in your house. They refugees, homeless. How many of you so Africanized, invite them to your house? Take care of them until they can take care of themselves. You would not do it. None of y'all doing it. You bunch of fakes. I don't like fake people. And that's why they don't like Angel Snubbing Up 7, because I'm going to call you out. I guarantee you, if I was obsessed with this African thing like you don't even invite. Some of y'all wouldn't even let your own relatives live with you. But you so Africanized and in love with Africans. It's so fake. You're fakes. Hypocrites. But then again, you just like your massa. Black power, I'm just like my massa. Black power, I'm just like my massa. That's all. You don't fool me at all. With that said, jot down your comments. Cuss me out, whatever you want to do. Until next time, as in always, love, peace.